Games are meant to be fun, aren't they? Well, sometimes they're great teachers. Let me tell you about the maze game and you decide. I was first introduced to the maze game by Blair Singer when I joined Sales Partners. Now, the maze game is an experiential, time-sensitive game where the goal is to work together as a team to produce an outcome in a pressurized, restricted environment that's meant to push you and challenge you. And some of the greatest lessons that come out of this are noticing the actions you took or the actions you didn't take. My name is Denise Roberts, and since the quarantine, I have been making a series of videos for businesses. And this one is going to be about the new game, the game of creating, adapting, innovating, and reinventing. So let's get back to the maze game. All right, so you and your team have been told that you're going to start by building a 9-foot by 6-foot grid on the floor, and you are to make 54 1-foot by 1-foot squares inside this grid. You're building a maze. And you're only given a roll of masking tape and a ruler, and you have to do this in 2 minutes. And then you will be judged based on how quickly you got the job done and by the accuracy of those squares. Now, as you can see from my grid, I wouldn't pass the accuracy part of the test. My quality control would be and it was time sensitive. So I wanted to get the job done. It couldn't be perfect in this case. Now, the next part of the game, you're told that the objective is that there is a hidden path. It starts here and ends up here, but there's a hidden path through this maze. And your job is to find it through trial and error and get your entire team through. And you have only 30 minutes to do it. Okay, challenging, but probably doable. At least you think. Now, you have a scorekeeper who is there to tell you that you are to put both feet in a square, make a commitment, and if you're in the right square, you'll hear nothing. If you're not, you'll hear this, beep. And if you are in the wrong square and you get a beep, you must get off the grid, no matter where you are on the grid. Anytime you make a mistake, you must come all the way off the grid and start over. All right, so no big deal, come up to there, start to make some changes, start to make some choices, and you hear beep, 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 beep. Well, I don't know about you, but there's only so many of those I can hear before my internal voice is going, wrong, made a mistake, wrong, you're screwing it up, your team's gonna go down, it's all your fault, wrong, 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 right? So another player comes up and they try and they go through the same thing. So it's meant to perturb you is probably the easiest word, or perturbate you, as Blair would like to say. So there will come a point in this game. For some it's early, for many it's later, but it doesn't matter. There will come a point when you will stand there and you have a decision to make. You've maybe halfway through the grid, you've seen how many times you had to start over, you're frustrated, you're angry, you know the clock is ticking, you're hearing there's one path through the grid, you're hearing you've got 10 minutes left, you're freaking out. And you'll come to this point where you'll have one foot on the square and the other foot in the air because you haven't committed yet. And you're thinking, do I go right? Do I go left? Do I go forward? Do I go backwards? Do I go sideways? How do I do this? Where do I go? And what's happened now is your amygdala part of your brain has just been hijacked. You are so afraid of making a mistake because you know you're going to have to start over again. You're uncertain of where the path is. You don't know how to do this. You don't know where to move. And you're doubting the advice you're getting, or you're doubting your own self. Now, kind of like today's climate, right? See, prior to the pandemic, you knew the path through the maze for your business. You knew where to start and how to end. You knew your value proposition. You knew how to make money. Everybody on the team knew their job and they knew their role. And now it's been upset. You've been delayed because of a quarantine. You've been altered because you have to keep 6 feet apart. You've been restricted because there's only so many people that allow in your business right now. Or you may have even been derailed by the fact that you always did public events, and there aren't any public events right now. So you're in a new game. This is your old game. You're in a new game. And that game is the game of creating, adapting, innovating, and reinventing. And that could be reinventing my own role as an employee inside this organization. So, similarities to this game and to the maze game are these. First of all, you are now at a point where you're back to the drawing board and it's trial and error. You're going to need support and input from others. No one person makes it through that maze game alone. No one person can do it alone. They need to rely on input of others. And if you're relying up to your leadership to do this, you will become a casualty of your own organization. It's time sensitive. We're trying to make up for the money that we've lost, the business that we've lost. We've got people who've got concerns about coming to our place of business. You've got a lot of things, a lot of people are afraid. They're afraid of making mistakes. But the difference is, and this is the cool part, the difference is, and this is the good news, is that there isn't just one path like in the maze game. There was only one way to win that game. There isn't just one way. That's where you're adapting, modifying. Can I change a product? Can I do something different than I used to do? Can I reduce a product? Can I get rid of a product? Can I add a product? Can I shift? Can I alter the way I did business? Can I alter the way I worked here as an employee? There's multiple ways to win this game, right? But the key learning is you must keep moving. When that amygdala gets hijacked and you want to stop, you've got to keep going. And I want to end this with, what do you think? Do you think it's similar to the maze game? Do you think you can do this? If you are standing there with one foot up in the air and you're uncertain and you're full of fear, uncertainty, and doubt, private message me. I'd love to help. I'd be happy to talk to you and talk you through the process. And by the way, if you do private message me, ask me how my amygdala got hijacked and I was stopped as I was even creating this video today. Yes, it happened to me too. So, let me know how I can help.